Did you know that for this movie, the writers considered up to 27 emotions but settled on 5: joy, sadness, disgust, fear, and anger to make it less complicated. Some primary emotions that were cut included surprise, pride, and trust. So Inside Out is one of those Pixar movies that really just kickstarted the whole, I guess you could consider them meta movies, where you get into deeper topics, you start thinking about things differently than usual Pixar movies, which are most of the time either about coming of age stories or just important life lessons. But Inside Out is just such a beautiful movie, and I have 3 big reasons why I love this movie, and my last reason is definitely my favorite. So my first reason that I love this movie is the creativity is on a whole nother level. Just the idea of thinking about how a person's mind works, especially a person who's younger. Riley is almost a teenager, but not quite there. She's 12 years old. And just how her mind processes all of her new life experiences, moving from Minnesota to New York, making a whole new set of friends, moving into a house that she wasn't really expecting to look like it did. I mean, all these big life things that happen to her in such a short amount of time. Just diving deep into how she processes it, but from the very beginning of her life, we get to see how the brain works, how memories start to become memories, what makes core memories, what makes up personalities. And it's just so cool. I do remember reading an article saying that this movie was really, really tough for them to make. There's a lot of decisions they had to make. It was very complicated to do, but they pulled it off very, very well. They hit on every aspect of the mind and how it works. It's a very educational movie for kids. Just how their brain works, how they need to tackle tough stuff in their life that they're not really sure how to feel about. This movie does a great job of just how to approach that. Second reason I love this movie is there are some really deep, important lessons in this movie. Watching it again just a couple days ago, I noticed something that was just really profound. We know joy is the main emotion in this movie, like she runs the whole show. But really, the main character is actually sadness. Sadness is basically like that rejected emotion. That emotion we don't really want to pay attention to, that emotion we try to repress. And we always want to be happy all the time. We want to be joyful and happy. We don't want things to change. We could see that sadness is actually a very, very important emotion to have, especially in our culture. You know, you're expected to be sad about some things. There are some times where you shouldn't be sad about this. You know, you should be strong. You should push through it. Don't show sadness. Sadness is kind of weakness. Joy treated sadness like a weakness, something that you don't want in your life, something that needs to be cut out of your life. That's why she put sadness in the circle of sadness, to keep all the sadness in there and let Riley just be happy for her entire life. Nothing's ever going to go wrong. And of course, the life lesson there is things will always go wrong. There will always be things that come out of nowhere that will just rock your world. And if you don't have a strong grasp on your emotions and are okay with the emotions that you have, you're gonna have some questions, you're gonna have some doubts, you're gonna maybe even have a moral crisis that Riley eventually had, because she started just forgetting things. She wanted her life to be a certain way, and she didn't care what she had to do to make her life a certain way, and just the balance that emotions have with morals as well. And there are a few moments in the movie I really, really loved, but I'd say one of my favorite moments in the movie was near the end when Joy and Sadness make it back to headquarters, and Joy had just gone through a huge learning experience of how important Sadness was, and when they started combining their emotions, and you know, when Riley admits she missed her home, she missed her friends back home, she was sad, but at the same time she made a core memory, pretty much starting a new beginning with this core memory of she'll always remember when she faced her parents, and it was scary, it was sad, but at the same time she also had some joy because her parents felt the same way she did, and she knows that they're going to go forward through life now, all on the same page, with some joy back in their lives. And it was just an extraordinarily beautiful scene. It makes me get emotional every time I see that scene, because it's really, really beautiful, and it really just encompasses the entire movie. Like, this is what the movie is trying to tell us. Pixar just really delivered on this movie. So if you haven't seen Inside Out in a while, I highly recommend rewatching it, because we got Inside Out 2 coming out in June, so I'm excited for that. We're going to get a lot more emotions, a lot more complexity to the story. Excited to see new emotions coming in. Riley's a teenager now. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be such a fun time in theaters. I can't wait to see that. So for Inside Out, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 Mudflaps. And remember to leave me a thumbs up and drop in the comments below. What is your favorite emotion? See you next time.